Good afternoon. This video message is going out to the BUS 100 770 class, and this message is specific to the 90-second pitch. I'm going to send you an email asking you to listen very carefully to this message, and I sent you an email last night, which would have been Tuesday evening, indicating that the pitch would be due Wednesday midnight, and it is now Wednesday, and we have, I believe, 3 out of 21 students in the class who have submitted. I would encourage you to follow through on your submission, because after Wednesday midnight, this assignment will move on to the next phase. So I'd like for you to take very careful notes, starting with your 90-second post, which is due this evening. Now, 3 or 4 of you have already done this, so you should put a check mark by that saying completed. But by midnight tonight, you should post to the assignment box that says individual pitch due 9/23. You should post your submission, your 90-second submission. Now, again, last night I sent the link on how to get to that template, and I'll also try to include it again, but you've seen that link and you know which one I'm referring to. So the first step is the submission that goes in tonight, Wednesday. Now, to be very clear, after tonight, I will not accept any submissions on the 90-second pitch that are the initial submissions, because we need to move forward with the next steps in the process. Now, on Thursday the 24th, each of you then who have submitted will then post your submission to another team's Dropbox. So how that goes, let me try to explain this to you. If you go to the discussion board, and I'm doing this at the same time, so I'm going to apologize for this looking a little awkward. But for instance, the alpha team, if you are putting your initial submission and you're on the alpha team, you will post your Thursday submission to the delta team, or I'm sorry, the beta team. That's the next one, beta team. If you're on the beta team, then you would post your next submission to the delta team. So it'd be the team that is right below yours. If you're on the delta team, your submission would go to the sigma team. If you're on the sigma team, I believe you would go to the omega team. If you're on the omega team, then you go back up top to the alpha team. So your second submission on your 90-second pitch would be to one of your classmates. This is going to happen on Thursday. So now each of you should have then 2 submissions, your personal submission and another submission from another student. Now, within the teams, the process can be very simple. So for instance, if Daniel, if you're on the alpha team and a submission comes in from Tristan, you might say, I'm going to take that submission, and first come, first serve. Other students would take submissions as they come in. Therefore, we would not have one team having 5, 6, 7, 8 submissions and be overloaded with work there. So each team, if done properly, each team should have one submission besides their own. So this is going to happen on Thursday, the 24th. So your assignment that will be due on Saturday will be to assess your submission as well as a classmate's submission, and that assessment will be based upon the rubric that is provided in the 90-second pitch. There are 5 points in the 90-second pitch, if you recall, or if you can refresh your memory about that, starting with the introduction. So the assessment goes very straightforward. And let's start with your individual submission. You're doing your self-assessment. Did I include a interesting fact in my introduction? If I did, you would say you would have introduction, and then you would state what the interesting fact was. Now we're talking about your submission as you posted it to the assignment box. Not later you think, well, maybe I can change it. What is on the video, to be very clear. Now, as we go through this, keep in mind, you will get points if you assess correctly. If you decide that, well, I did have an introduction and it's kind of hazy, but it's there, you're going to lose points because your assessment is not correct, because someone else will be assessing your presentation based upon the rubric the same way. So I would encourage you to be very accurate with your assessment. And it's okay to say, I did not include a dynamic introduction. I did not state the problem, whatever the case might be. So there are 4 points. So your response would be very simple. On an email, you would state your name, the 5 points, and then you go down to each point and state, did I cover this in my introduction? Yes, I did. And then a statement of what it was. Go to the problem. Did I identify the problem? No, I did not. Go to the next one. Maybe talk about the solution. Did I state a solution? Yes, I stated the solution, and here's the solution. So you're doing a self-assessment based upon the 5 points in the rubric of your submission. That's the first part of your assignment that will be due on Saturday. This is worth 25 points. The second part of your assignment, you will have another student submission. You'll just put their name there, and then you'll go through their submission, and you will say, did this student have an interesting point in their introduction? Did they clearly state the problem? Did they talk about the solution? Did they indicate the market size? When they talked about the solution, did they introduce themselves? Just follow the rubric. That way, all of the assessments are the same. So at the end of Saturday, you will have completed 2 assessments, your personal assessment and a classmate's assessment. This is the next step in the pitch process, because based upon the assessments, we're going to then move next week to the next phase, which is going to be a revision or editing in our pitch. So that's why it's very important that all of the pitches be in by tonight, Wednesday, so that we can move on in this process. Now, I am going to send an email asking you to listen to this video. It should be very clear, and I'll look forward to seeing your entries in the Dropbox or the assignment box, and it will be marked individual assignment, 90-second pitch, assessment, and classmate assessment due week 5, which will be Saturday of this week. Now, just a real quick note, I am delaying the team project because I want each individual to focus on their individual assessment. We do not have enough participation right now to move to the team, so I'm not going to address that right now. I'll delay that, and we'll talk about that next week. Okay, so I look forward to seeing your submissions in the assignment box and responding to your emails if you have questions.